It was one of those days in the South. The sun was hotter than a jalapeño's armpit, and Harold found himself staring down the greenhouse that was hotter than his Aunt Sally's oven on pie baking day. "Well, ain't this a fine howdy-do," he muttered, wiping sweat from his brow. Deciding it was high time to rescue his plants from untimely roasting, Harold got his hands on one of those fancy Wi-Fi thermometers. He stuck it up by the vent and the fan just to see how bad things really were. Sure enough, that screen lit up like a 4th of July sparkler, confirming his suspicion that he was growing more than just tomatoes. He was cultivating a sauna. With a mixture of grit and a touch of desperation, Harold moseyed on over to the hardware store. He came back with a 20,000 CFM fan, a beast of a machine that could probably cool the whole country if it wanted to. Wrestling it into place, Harold joked, "If this doesn't work, I might just open up a wind farm right here." But the fan was just the beginning. Harold had himself a brainstorm of a brilliant idea. He added misters, those little spritzers that made the greenhouse feel like a Southern Belle's perfume cloud. As he watched them mist away, he chuckled, "Might as well slap a hammock in here and call it a day." Next up were the HAF fans. He popped them in like biscuits in a hot oven, hoping the extra breeze would make things right cozy. Then came the grand finale, the shade cloth. He threw it over the greenhouse like a giant picnic blanket, thinking his plants might be grateful enough to reward him with the best tomatoes this side of the Mississippi. Finally, Harold checked his trusty thermometer, and to his delight, it showed the temperature dropping like a rock. "Well, looky here," he grinned. "Ain't that a sight for sore eyes? Cooler than a cucumber in a bowl of ice." Feeling mighty proud, Harold stood back and admired his handiwork. "All right, y'all," he said to his plants with a wink. "Next time, how about a ripe tomato and maybe a little applesauce?" With his greenhouse cool and his spirits high, Harold headed back inside, dreaming of sipping sweet tea on the porch. Maybe later, he'd even consider starting that greenhouse orchestra, but for now, a cold drink would do just fine.